Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Firdaus Iman, and today we will present about the final year project presentation titled Load Balancing Method. So we start from the introduction first. Prestressed concrete is one of the reinforced concrete that used since the early 1900s. Was one of the most important structural component in making the superstructure heavy structure such as building and bridges. In any normal situation or circumstances, the reinforced concrete used in the construction is very strong in the compression force by the lack the tensile resistance, and the weaknesses of the tensile resistance will eventually lead to the cracking effect over the time. So the load balancing method is involved in creating a strong structure that is designed to reduce the cracking and deflection issue. The problem statement for this project is the superstructure often exposed to the crack and chamber issue, and that the load balancing method is preferred instead of stress or ultimate strength method to reduce the cracking and chamber issue as well as the deflection issue. The objective of the load balancing method in the project is to demonstrate the usage of the load balancing method in apply the structure of beam and slab, and to understand the usage of load balancing method in balancing the live load, the dead load, by varying the number of reinforcement in the concrete itself. So we go to the research gap part. Research gap part will cover the general concept of concrete, load balancing method structure, and application of load balancing method in the continuous beam. So first thing first, the concept is easily. We given a continuous, we given a simple beam with a pre-stressing steel. So the pre-stressing steel or called cable, tendon, or any other usual name, when they activated under the bearing action. So this is the bearing action. It will cause the concrete to receive the uniform compression, cause to undergo to direct stress due to pre-stress. So this P over A, P represent the pre-stressing steel forces, A represent the concrete, while E represent the eccentricity, which are the location from the pre-stressing to the center of the beam, and then plus with the stress due to eccentricity of the pre-stress by pre-stressing force times the eccentricity over Z, which is the section modulus that can get by the beam design for the material properties. And then we go to the M over Z, stress due to the external bending moment. So we got the M due to the distributed load from the external load, and together we combine, we get the stress due to the external bending moment. So this is general concept of pre-stress concrete. And then how we can apply in the load balancing method. So the load balancing method is involved with stress too, but the difference is it balance the load by using the pre-stressing steel as the balance load. So the pre-stressing steel act as the WC, which to cater the external load from the outside. So W UDF for the external load will minus with the WC UDF from the pre-stressing steel. So the remaining is called the resultant W. W is the remaining uniformly distributed load or the remaining load that not be balanced. So the usage load balancing method we can see in the continuous beam before applying the load balancing method. So before applying the load balancing method, we can see the live load, the red one, and the blue one, which is the dead load before applying. After applying the load balancing method, we can see the inside of the concrete beam, which is the cable. The cable is deflected and from the cable profile, and then this is the resultant distributed load, which is we can see at the support. It show the upward load because the rectangle here is placed on the upside, while the remaining span, which is not the at support, it will go to the downward load. And then we proceed to the methodology. The methodology simply say about the design started from the design structure layout, where you design the structure from the material properties, you give the cable properties, you give the strength properties, and then we go to determine cable profile, balance load, percentage force, and equivalent load. In this process, we determine the number of forces that is needed, and then after that, analysis of action. And then we produce the result, which is explained in the chapter 4. Bending moment and shear diagram of two important parameter. And then we will also produce the stresses under serviceability and transfer condition to see whether the stresses is good enough. And then we check the deflection action. We see the elastic and long-term deflection, whether it is reduced or not. So for this is our sample for the concrete for our project. We use the continuous beam with the length of 8 meter over 2 span. So the total span is 16 meter. We also use the continuous beam, okay? And then this is happen when we apply the live load and dead load. So the live load is 92 kilonewton per meter. The dead load is 23.75 meter. So this is our cable properties. The cable properties, we have a steel bar of 15.7 millimeter, area 150 millimeter. The tensile strength 1,770 meter. The steel strength per strength is 265. Ultimate tensile strength 185.85 because it times the ultimate tensile strength is 70% of the steel strength. The strength transfer is basically a reduction of the ultimate strength by 10%. The strength at service, reduction of strength of steel at by 20%. And then we can see in this project we will apply in 3 different cases. Okay, we have 3 different situations. Firstly, we have the continuous beam where we install 11 tendon. And then second case study, the second situation, we install 9 tendon. And then the third situation where we install 6 tendon. So after we install the 11, 9, 6 tendon, we have different strength of pre-stressing tendon. We can see 9 tendon have 892, 6 tendon 892, 9 tendon 1,358, and 11 tendon 1,635. So we can see the balance load that is given, balance load that is produced from the number of resistance steel. The 6 tendon produce about 47.92 kilonewton per meter. 9 tendon produce 71.89 kilonewton per meter, while 11 tendon produce 87.857 kilometer. By minusing the total load is from here. Is a combination of live load and dead load. So 92 plus 23.75, and then we minus with the balance load here. So the answer we get is for the 6 tendon 56.77, 9 tendon 32.8, while 11 tendon 16.843. So in this project, we want to observe the how the percentage of unbalanced live load, because in load balance method we try to balance 100% of the dead load and leaving certain percentage of live load to be unbalanced, so we can put an additional enforcement to help and to support the pre-stressing steel in the construction in the beam itself. So we see the percentage 78.85 for 6 tendon, the 9 tendon 45.55 percentage, 11 tendon 23.34. So the reinforcement needed, we can first we use unbalanced load which is 68.843 from the 6 tendon. I just convert percentage to the tendon. So we convert to get the balance force that is needed, and then we try to divide by the 500. The 500 refer by the pre-stressing steel strength, which is 500 Newton per meter squared, and we get the area, which is 168.43. And then we find the nearest design, which is more than, we must search more than. So we find 2 bar of 12 millimeter diameter for the additional reinforcement. The same situation apply for the 9 tendon and 6 tendon. We use 2T16, 2T20. And then we go to the result and discussion, where we go to the summarization for these different cases of load balancing method. While 6 tendon have, using the 6 tendon, we have the maximum moment of 1,715. The 9 tendon increased significantly to 1,872. The 11 tendon significantly increased to 1,952 kilonewton meter. The shear force is same among, even in 3 different cases, at 815.8, the shear maximum, the shear maximum. And then the shear maximum is similar because because the discussion is made. The shear maximum is similar due to the balance the entire dead load at 100%. So that's why the shear is similar. And then we go to the elastic deflection maximum. We see the 6 tendon have 0.61 at 7 mm. When they use the 9 tendon, they reduce a little bit at 0.6026, and 11 tendon we use 0.6998 millimeter. So the value is about inconsistent, but there is still range in the 0.6 millimeter. And then the maximum long-term deflection we can see by increasing the value of by increasing number of tendon, we will increase the number of deflection ultimate. But also I have said that about the inconsistent, the value is consistent because 6 tendon have 0.833, and then the 9 tendon have 0.9 millimeter. I'm sorry, for the maximum long-term deflection is consistent. I just mistakenly swapped the value because this is 0.9 millimeter at 3.179 meter, which is the maximum deflection, and increase at 1.05 millimeter. So the maximum long-term deflection have higher number of tendon, high deflection. However, the crack proved wrong because we have to decrease the crack width from 6 tendon at 0.0272 to 9 tendon 0.0104. We decrease by half, and the 11 tendon 0.0042, which is very decreased. However, the stresses under serviceability and transfer increased significantly from 5.04 to 6.068, 6.576 increased significantly. And then the conclusion we can get from the load balancing method is we must demonstrate the usage of load balancing method is successful because we're able to understand how we can use the load balancing method to balance the live load, and how we can use the balancing method to reduce the cracking issue. As I show, we able to reduce the cracking issue from 6 tendon to 11 tendon. And then my recommendation for the load balancing method, when they are research in the future, we must focus to do the modeling and software. We must find the more approachable software for us to understand the objective and reason of using the load balancing method. And we must be more flexible upon taking resources of any period when we are using when you research about the load balancing method, as well as long as the data remain relevant and can be used in understanding the concept of load balancing method. With that, I excuse myself. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.